feel like Virgo is a real controversial sign, and I wish it wasn't. Before I mastered Virgo, I used to get so out of alignment, y'all. That is my sun sign. I am a Virgo. People usually, when they first meet me, they're like, oh, okay, like, we know what you are. And I'm like, okay, well, guess. Like, what am I? What am I? Like, let's go. You're a Scorpio, right? I get Scorpio all the time. And it's not far-fetched because my rising is a Scorpio. I've actually never had anybody guess Virgo. When people find out that I'm a Virgo, it's never a gray space. It's either they absolutely are like, oh my God, I love Virgos. My siblings are Virgo, my mom's a Virgo, my aunt's a Virgo, or it's the, you a Virgo. And I'm like, oh, I'm always so interested to know why people just don't necessarily like Virgo. And a lot of people tell me like, okay, well, the real reason I don't like Virgo, this is like the #1 thing they say. Virgo is just so judgmental or controlling. And I'm like, oh wow, that is bizarre to me. That's only so bizarre because when I look back at my life, I'm like, the only person in this world that I have control over or that I like to have any autonomy over is myself. It doesn't come natural for me to control somebody else. I actually enjoy people being themselves and me trying to regulate if we can get on the same frequency to be around each other. But actually, literally trying to control somebody is bizarre. So to hear that about my sign, I'm like, oh, we're not going around literally being like micromanaging people and how they behave. But then the second thing that I mentioned was judgment. That's another thing that doesn't come natural to me. I don't really have the time to judge other people's lives and what they do because everybody's on their own separate path. In saying that, this is probably the healing that some people need. I'm a Virgo. I'm not judgmental and I'm definitely not controlling. I've had to have moments where I come down to earth and realize I don't know everything. A lot of people that don't typically enjoy Virgo energy lead with Virgos think they're perfect. They think they know everything. Thank God my Sagittarius moon allows me to not think that's the case for me. I'm okay with being flawed. I'm okay with people thinking I'm flawed. I'm okay with people having opinions on me because I actually don't have the energy to try to control things that I cannot control. But I'm not out here to be perfect. I'm not out here to think I know everything because when you close yourself off in that way, you really can't receive what you're supposed to receive in this reality. And I feel like when I do chat with Virgos here and there, they do have a arrogance about themselves, or they're just like, well, I know what's best. And it's like, babe, you know what's best for you. So me mastering that I don't know it all, even from a headstrong sense, because I am so headstrong, I don't think anybody has anything to say to me that I couldn't figure out within my own self through like meditation or through like self-work. I also understand that opening myself to other people's thoughts can be so immensely progressive because it allows me to challenge the things that I think I know so well. So one thing I've had to master in my path for sure is not thinking I know everything. The second thing I've had to master as a Virgo is not getting on people's nerves with how orderly I can be. I used to always joke with my sibling when they came to like spend the night at my house and we were kicking it. They have longer hair. So sometimes they like comb their hair and it'd be left on my bathroom floor. I remember one day they were like spending the night. I think they asked me like a very simple question. How do you leave such and such in the bathroom? And I was like, oh, I leave it like this. And I also kind of like make sure I don't have any hairs on the floor. And they were like, oh, what do you mean you don't like hairs on the floor? I'm like, yeah, I don't like hairs on the floor at all. And they're like, well, how do you keep that from happening? I'm like, I don't have a lot of hair, babe. So I don't usually leave any hairs on the floor, but I prefer the hairs to be like picked up if they're there. And my sibling didn't know. They weren't conscious that they were leaving hairs on my floor. So they were like, oh my God, why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you tell me that I was leaving hairs on your floor? I would have just got them up. And I was like, because I didn't want to be too naggy. And they're like, that's not being naggy. This is just how you like order. You like your space a certain way. That's okay for you to have those boundaries. And I'm like, you know what? I guess now that I really sit and think about it, the way that I am, how meticulous and orderly and like clean I am, I shunned away from telling other people about that or like voicing my opinion on that and how I live my life to other people because I didn't want to be too overbearing. So I've had to find the balance between telling somebody like, hey, could you make sure you clean those hairs up off the floor, versus not saying anything and then kind of secretly becoming like this pent up ball of frustration because the bathroom floor doesn't look exactly how I want it to look. Finding balance within how I like my order versus how other people carry themselves is definitely something I've had to master in myself. I don't really, honestly, my world, when it's neat and clean, feels under control for me, but I know that's not the case for everybody. So I don't want to push that on other people, but I do have to find that balance to be like, hey, I don't really like it like this. The third thing, and this may not apply to every Virgo, but it certainly has been my role with Virgo. Going from 0 to like 100, anger-wise, I'm not talking about explosion of anger. You know how some people, they explode into their anger? I don't explode into my anger. But what I have noticed through my self-work is that when I really, really feel purposefully taunted or disrespected, that rage will kick in, and I've had to be like, I wonder if every other Virgo feels this. And when I kind of chat with them, I kind of do get that from them. Like, they'll kind of let me know, like, yeah, like, I was trying to blow it off, I was trying to play it off, I was trying to breathe, I was trying to let it go. But then I just had to when I snap, I snap. And I feel like that's a lot of Virgos' experience with rage. And one thing that I had to do to like really hone in that, because think about it, if I'm relentless in other aspects of my life, like keeping things super orderly or getting tasks done, like to no end, imagine how that rage, that obsession could trickle into that space of anger. And for me personally, I had to go into practice. I had to start doing yoga, and I had to start doing mantra work. Like, I had to start stretching my body and then reiterating in my mind, like, I am not my anger. I am not my anger. I am not my rage. I'm not finna knock the shit out of this person. Like, it's that deep. And I don't want to give that to Virgo, but I kind of want to give it to Virgo only because of the other people that I talk to that have told me something so similar that are a Virgo. So yeah, controlling my rage is definitely something I had to do sooner than later, but who knows? I may make a video later and be like, actually, that had nothing to do with Virgo. That had more to do with my upbringing, but who knows? I ask people around me that I really love, what's your favorite thing about Virgo? Somebody that's near and dear to me, my sibling, told me their favorite attribute about Virgo is that Virgo pushes potential. When they said that, it felt like I was seen. And I think that's where people get the mix in with Virgo being controlling or trying to regulate everything. I think Virgo always trying to enhance everybody around them, including themselves. As a Virgo, when I kind of see the good in everybody before I see anything else, because we all been through stuff, those type of things, they change us. I think a lot of people go into relationships with other people apprehensive of where they're going to get harmed, and I always go in with, okay, where's that part of you that is the best part of you that I can look to try to understand the part to you that I may not understand. My sibling said, pushing potential is one of the things that they like the most about Virgo. I thought to myself, like, yeah, because when somebody is really reading me the correct way, it's never that I'm on top of you because, like, I feel some type of way about how you're conducting yourself in your life. I love you enough to want to see the things that you want for yourself manifest. So that's where my pushing comes in. Like, hey, remember we said we was gonna get this done? Remember we said we were gonna not do this? Remember we said we had this goal? Like, but I'm doing that to myself. And the good thing about me is I'm okay with people doing it back. If somebody's like, Dana, remember you said you were gonna be consistent and you falling off, like, I don't mind that. And I don't mind reminding other people of what they want and how important it is to get to it. So pushing potential to me was an amazing thing for my sibling to bring to my attention that Virgos naturally are good at. Another thing that one of my dear friends said, this is my Sagittarius male friend, he said that the thing that he enjoys the most about being around Virgo is that when Virgo is safe and Virgo feels like they can trust you, the way they express themselves and being who they really are and feeling that freedom around you is enjoyable to be around. Everybody has parts of them that they don't show to everybody, right? It's kind of funny because I'm talking into a camera to a bunch of strangers, so obviously there's not so much resistance with me. But I mean, at the end of the day, y'all would never know if I'm bringing like a representative or if I'm really showing you myself. I mean, my goal is to be transparent and to be myself at all times, even if I'm, seen as flawed, because Have you looked at them YouTube comments recently? Like, I be getting my natural self. If I was putting on a representative, the way I be getting dogged, it's like sometimes people really just will not agree with what you say, but that's not why I'm doing this. I'm not getting on camera so everybody can agree with me. I'm getting on camera because this is how I express myself through art. But what he said did ring bells because I'm always going to be myself. I have to trust the people that I'm around to be able to hold the things that I may give them. Like, everybody doesn't get the same version of Dana. They get the real of Dana, but I may not trust everybody with certain things that I show certain people because they haven't earned that in my eyes, or I don't feel comfortable enough. So when he said, like, the freedom that you all exert, that fearlessness when you're around somebody that you really can let your hair down and be yourself with, I had to respect that because I'm like, yeah, that doesn't, I guess Virgo is seen more like, you know, closed off, more secretive, more, you know, enclosed. I try to work on that though, because I feel like as a Virgo, even though certain people don't need to see certain sides of me, I never want to lean too much into not expressing myself on the full spectrum, because that then would be disservicing myself from where I need to go, if that makes any sense at all. The other thing that somebody told me about Virgo, which I really loved, was that we're universal. A Virgo told me this. A Virgo was like, you know what I love about being a Virgo? I couldn't imagine myself to be any other sign because the way we interact with every other sign is so cold. And I'm like, well, what you talking about? She's like, I mean, like, really think about it. Like, we can find a way to kind of like chameleon and get along with anybody. And I'm like, okay. We do feel universal to me and to you. We Virgos, so we gonna be biased, but I would hope everybody else feels that way about us too. Like, I do feel like as a Virgo, I really do love and accept everybody that I meet, even if I don't agree with certain things that they do or how they behave, I still accept it. So that universal word made sense to me, but I also had to kind of counter my friend. Like, I don't think everybody has access to Virgo energy the way you think they do. To be honest with y'all, I told this to my friend before I got on camera. I was like, I don't meet a lot of Virgos. Like, when I meet a Virgo, it's like I see another unicorn, because especially male Virgos. Now that, I don't encounter, like, I encounter other signs a lot more. When people say they're a Virgo, I'm genuinely like interested to get to know them, just to see like, where does that weave over between the two of us exist? Where do we have that similarity? But when she said universal, I was like, okay, I'll throw that on the list, because it's a beautiful attribute to think that you have enough space to hold for any other sign and get along with them cohesively. But as Virgos, I don't know if we have the right to say that. I think we're just going to be a little biased and think that that may be the case, but I hope it would be to everybody that's watching. So we're in Virgo season. I thank you all so much. You know what? Everybody that has a Virgo in their life, it will mean the world to me. Like, you know, after seeing this video, and y'all can put in the comments like how y'all feel about Virgo. I would hope it would be positive. No, you know what? If you didn't have a positive experience with Virgo, that's okay. Like, what am I policing that for? I would love to hear your comments about how you feel about Virgo in the comments. I would love to know if you are a Virgo, any experiences that you want to share, how Virgo makes you feel, or maybe what you don't like that Virgo brings to you. I'm open. I'm not closed off. But in honor of Virgo season, you know, shout out to everybody out there that's a Virgo. Sending you my love, sending you my light, sending you my peace.